So guys, in today's video, we will be talking about the top 5 things The Flash Season 9 must do before the show concludes with its abbreviated 13 episode run. So let's get into it. Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. And of course, a couple of days ago, we got the unfortunate news that The Flash is sadly coming to an end with an abbreviated 13 episode final season. And I was not able to do a breakdown on it sadly because I was away, but now that I am back, I want to make this video a bit more interesting, and instead of giving you guys my thoughts on the show ending, I will be giving you guys my top 5 things The Flash must do before the show ends. So these are essentially the things I want to see before The Flash comes to an end with Season 9. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so the first thing this season must do is that every single episode must be centered around Barry Allen, aka The Flash, in some way. This is the final season, and just like what Arrow Season 8 somewhat did, each and every episode was centered around the main character himself, Oliver Queen. And the areas where Arrow Season 8 failed was when other characters, such as the future characters, most specifically Mia, completely took away the spotlight and pretty much sabotaged the season. And then once again, the reason why Supergirl Season 6 was not good at all was because it was barely centered around Supergirl. It focused on the whole entire cast, and it was not successful because of that. The final season must be just purely centered around the main character. Once again, if we have a look at Arrow Season 8, the strongest parts of that season was whenever it was centered around Oliver Queen only. And that was what made it so good. And then when of course the future characters came in, things got a bit messy. But then if you look at like episodes 1, 2, 3 of Arrow Season 8, they were perfect. And I think the same thing should apply over here. The Flash Season 9 is the show's final season, meaning in every episode coming, we need to dive into this emotional journey of our Scarlet Speedster and what he'll be going through. Every episode needs to be centered around him and the legacy of the Flash. After all, this is the shortest episode run the show will be going for as well. It's 13 episodes. We don't have time for any fillers or interlude episodes centered around other characters other than the Flash. We need all 13 episodes to be centered around our main character, the Flash, in some way. The only exceptions I will give is either a Reverse Flash origin story or something related to the Reverse Flash, because that is very fitting to this whole story with the Flash and does pretty much make everything come full circle, establishing this rivalry between the Flash and the Reverse Flash. Or having a filler or an interlude episode still being the focal point of The Flash, but having other returning characters in some way if they're not able to fit them into like the graphic novel storyline. This of course doesn't mean that other characters should not have time to shine at all. That's not what I mean. I want every episode to have Barry as the main focus of the episodes, but the other characters, so Iris, Chester, Allegra, Caitlin, whoever else I'm missing, have their side stories in the episodes, but still have the Flash as the focal point, because we obviously need to wrap up all of their story arcs as well, considering that this season will be the last. But the second thing I want to see the Flash Season 9 do is have episodes paying homage to previous seasons. This was something I absolutely loved about Arrow Season 8. Not only having each episode focusing on a specific season from the past, so episode 1 paid homage to season 1, episode 2 paid homage to season 3's flashbacks, episode 3 paid homage to present day, and so on. It was absolutely beautiful. Not only did it feel so nostalgic, and of course, not only having that tone and something very similar to that specific season, but also having the returning characters as well. It was absolutely phenomenal. And of course, seeing our main character interacting with people from the past, I think The Flash absolutely has the capability to do this, especially considering Barry's ability to time travel. So episode 1 could pay homage to season 1, another episode could pay homage to season 6, and of course, having the returning characters with that as well. I think if done right, the Flash doing this would undoubtedly be better than how Arrow handled this. And of course, this comes with returning characters, as I said as well. We must see some familiar faces before the show ends. I know Eric Wallace is very determined to bring Zoom back, and I think everyone wants to see Zoom back, and we need to see that back because this is the final season. They could bring back other characters as well, such as Savitar, Godspeed. We know Bloodwork is confirmed to return. But also, it would be really cool to see characters like Eddie return, Cisco return, a version of Wells returning, maybe Julian Albert, and of course, the one who started it all, Oliver Queen. And that final interaction, if we do get that final interaction between Barry and Oliver, everyone would just be bawling their eyes out because for me at least, I would just absolutely love to see a scene like that. And I know a lot of you guys would love to see something like that as well. And I think that would absolutely be phenomenal. Now, of course, we need to take into consideration that this is 13 episodes and seemingly we are still sticking to 2 graphic novels from previous interviews that Eric Wells has talked about. But again, back then he didn't know that season 9 was going to be the final season, so maybe things have changed. But it's going to be interesting to see how they will be fitting these returning characters in, especially considering that we're going to be having the graphic novels. So I think they're going to have to use like filler or interlude episodes to bring those characters back in some way. Now, the third thing the Flash must do, and I briefly did mention this in the first point, and that is to have absolutely no filler episodes or interlude episodes centered around other characters. This is a short season of 13 episodes, so we need to use every opportunity and just focus on the story and wrap everything up. So from the ending of The Flash Season 8, we of course got that cliffhanger with the new Negative Speed Force host, who is very likely going to be Cobalt Blue. So it is clear he is going to be the main villain for one half of the season. But for me, in order to wrap this show up, we really need to go back to the beginning and have the Reverse Flash as the main villain. I know Eric Wallace did say that Reverse Flash was just permanently defeated in The Flash Season 8. But that only applies to Tom Cavanagh's Reverse Flash. He is defeated, but we do still know that a Reverse Flash is out there because he's going to have to kill Nora Allen at some point. So I think we need to have a younger version of the Reverse Flash back. And after all, the Reverse Flash, he is the main villain of our main character. And I think this would be the perfect time to have Matt Letcher coming in as a younger version of the Reverse Flash. One that has not yet lived through the events of Season 1 all the way to Season 8. So way before, and actually just establish this rivalry from the start. I think that would be pretty cool. And this is why I'm going to say the only interlude episodes or fillers we should be getting are either the ones that pay homage to previous seasons through time travel, with Barry interacting with either the Flash family or just some returning characters, maybe getting Zoom back, Savitar back, Bloodwork back. But the one that we should definitely get, and this is something I would really want to see as well, is a Reverse Flash origin story. It would absolutely suck if we don't get that. Just imagine getting an episode centered around the Reverse Flash, and then us just going back and pretty much having that scene Thawne talked about in episode 5 of season 8, where he was just absolutely furious at Barry because he talks about how he wanted to possess speed and now he was able to do this. He wanted to save this crowd, but Barry ends up saving the crowd, and that was the crowd Thawne was supposed to save. And then of course Thawne goes, "You stole my greatest moment." We need to see that happen, and I think that would be really cool, and that would actually establish this rivalry and make this younger version of the Reverse Flash the main villain for the back half of the season. And then, of course, segueing into number 4, going back to the night of Nora Allen's murder. We need to not only see how everything led up to that moment between the Flash and the Reverse Flash. So in the series finale, the very last episode of the show, I'm hoping that we get this speedster battle between the Flash and the Reverse Flash time travel to the night of Nora Allen's murder, make everything come full circle, and of course see the fallout of the event as well. So what happened to Barry after Nora Allen's murder? Does he go back to present day, or does he actually become the lightning that strikes him? That would be very, very interesting to see. But then heading into our final one, number 5, do not kill Barry off or reveal his identity to the public. And I know this is a bizarre one to have as a wish list, but one thing I do not want to see is them killing off their main character. I'd rather them end the show in a way where Barry is still the Flash off screen, or hands over the mantle of protecting Central City to someone else. I know most of the people's ideal ending for the show is for Barry to become the lightning that strikes him, which would be really, really cool to see, don't get me wrong. But I don't like it when shows kill off their main characters, and I know it looks like they're ending the Arrowverse, and then when the Flash ends, the Arrowverse is pretty much done. But killing off main characters does take away the potential for them to return in the near future if they wanted to do something with that specific character. So that's why I don't like it when shows kill off their main characters. But they might be allowed to do it for this, considering that the Arrowverse is ending, and then of course Superman and Lois is on its other universe, so they could easily just bring in another version of the Flash if they want to cross over. But I don't know, I just don't like the idea of killing off the main character. As I said, although I would absolutely love to see the ending where Barry does actually become the lightning that strikes him, it would be really, really cool. But I'd rather just have something like them showcasing the legacy of the Flash and then go into the future, see the other speedsters coming after the Flash, such as Bart and Nora, maybe Wally, Max Mercury, and just keep him as the Flash off screen. I would be fine with that. Or if they do not follow through a Reverse Flash origin story, which would be a big missed opportunity, but let's say they don't follow through with it, one really cool ending for the show would be to have that scene which Thawne talked about in episode 5 of season 8, where Barry saves the crowd Thawne wanted to see. That would not only be such a sick way to end the show where we see the rivalry established, but also it would be a cool cliffhanger, not only showing Barton becoming a full-on villain and hating the Flash, but it also shows us where this rivalry started, and also keeps Barry as the Flash off screen. I think that would be really cool, and then it would just give the audience this like mystery in regards to what happens next. I just think that would be something really cool. I don't know if it's just me. But of course, in regards to them revealing the Flash's identity, not only will it just mess with canon and things we have seen in 2049 and the Flash Museum, where Barry Allen's identity is clearly still a secret, but also it's nice to have the mystery of the Flash and not have the public know who he really is. They did this with Oliver Queen where they revealed his identity and I did not like it. They did it with Supergirl's ending, so that's just why I do not want them to do it with the Flash. I don't think it's really necessary. But yeah guys, that is essentially my wish list for the Flash Season 9. These are of course the 5 things I want to see before the show ends. So if you guys have any ideas, be sure to tell me in the comment section down below in regards to what you guys would like to see before the Flash comes to an end. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.